Hey guys, Luke from A Taste of AZ podcast. On today's episode, we've got PHX Sampler. They're curating awesome goods from local farmers markets and delivering them directly to your door. Make sure to like the video below and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's jump into the podcast.
We are here with PHX Sampler, Alex. Alex, thanks for joining us. We are excited to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me, for having this virtual experience together.
Yeah, so we're glad to have you here. So, are you originally from Phoenix?
I'm not.
Okay.
Like most people, it seems, in the Phoenix area, I relocated from the Midwest.
Where?
So Southern Indiana. I hear one of y'all's from Ohio, right? Okay.
That's me. Yes.
So I grew up in southeastern Indiana. Our closest city was Cincinnati.
Okay.
So like Cincinnati, Louisville, right there in the boot heel of Indiana. I've been out here for 16 years last month.
Wow. Very cool. So I take it you like it.
A little bit, Yeah. No, this is definitely home now.
Yeah, that's great. I was bought in, I think, 3/4 of the way of the drive here. I'm like, this is amazing, So yeah, I love Arizona too. So what brought you out here? Like what brought you to Arizona?
I came to Arizona to go to ASU. So I finished high school. I decided I wanted to study industrial design. At that time, there were 23 schools that were certified with the program. ASU's one. I printed out a list and I cut it into strips and I mixed it all up and I pulled out ASU. And that brought me to Arizona. So it was a great way to get here. A little bit of a surprise for everyone, but definitely worth it. That's
a risk though. Like that's
huge.
like a ballsy move, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to swear in this podcast, but I do sometimes. But so have you always been like that? Always been just kind of take a
here
chance?
And there, I'm definitely into taking chances. I like to find the positives in everything. So, I mean, even if something is turning out terribly, you're going to learn something great from it.
Sure.
And I think moving to Arizona was a great point of that. I didn't know it was home for a little while. I did move to LA for about a year, and that just confirmed, like, nope, all right, Phoenix is it.
Yeah.
Let's go home.
Too far. Yeah. Well, what is industrial design exactly?
Product design. So everything from a toothbrush to a car, anything you interact with. So I started in that program and then finished with design management. So it's a degree that doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
I like to say it's a degree in problem solving because that's how I use it.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's took me down an interesting path, not into what I do on the face value.
What do you mean by that?
I'm not in a design field. I used my full-time job that I was doing in college to kind of propel me into an actual career. And then I dropped off the corporate wagon to start one business, which led me to two businesses.
Wow. That happens sometimes, like gremlins, right? It's just like, oh, what happened? You're multiplied. Yeah.
Following the trail. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, so how long did you work in the field before you like industrial design?
I actually never got to touch industrial design.
Oh, you never did? Oh,
yeah. So while I was in school, I started working full-time in retail, in the footwear industry and fashion, and started in the retail side, moved up to the wholesale side. And when I left the corporate world, I'd spent 12 years in footwear, which is not related to anything localized or the PHX Sampler or bread.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of led me into that analytical side that helps to build businesses. So not directly feeding in, but it all built up together.
With the right mindset, right? Like if you have the right mindset, everything can kind of correlate, right?
Absolutely.
So Luke, we just had the episode with the girl from Toasted Mallow, and she'd said the same thing. She came from Cabela's, or I think it was Cabela's, one of those big retail, and she was going down that path. She had no no thought that she was going to go in the direction that she is now, making amazing like s'mores, like torching them right in front of you. Like, have you been there? Have you been to?
I haven't been there. I followed them on social media, and I was next to her for Phoenix Flea a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Trisha, that's her name. Trisha.
Beautiful.
Sorry, I'm gonna
like
cut
little
that.
works of art.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I need to. When I was doing the podcast with her, my daughters kept kind of peeking in because they're at home right now, So I'm like, she makes marshmallows. So they both drew her pictures, and it was a great thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But so, anyways, I get off track sometimes. But so you're in the retail side of things. What makes the drastic change?
So from retail, I moved into the wholesale side of footwear business. I was working for a brand called the Fry Company, so high-end leather footwear and goods. I was managing the Dillard's account nationally. So when fall came and it was boot season, I was on a plane all the time. I was never
Hustling
home.
Boots. Hustling boots,
slinging boots, and it just it kind of wore on me after a while. I was newly married, and I wasn't at home, so it's you come home and talk about something. Oh, this might be an issue. Bye, I'm getting on a plane. See you in 2 weeks. It like snowballs a little bit.
Sure.
So I ended up leaving the footwear industry and leaning on my first dream, which was Hot Co Bread Co. So Hot Co's my last name. I do primarily family recipes, Eastern and Central European based, and started selling at farmers markets. So
how long ago did you start? How long ago did you start doing that?
2016. So this is my 4th year.
And I'm sure if it's family stuff, I'm sure you've just done that stuff for years, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I started baking when I was like 6 or so. So
wow.
Grew up on a farm, lots of time to myself to, investigate things. So got to start baking at a really early age. And then it was kind of a joke, really. Like around 13, 14, I was like, oh, someday over the rainbow, I'm going to have Hot Co Bread Co. and, make bread. And after we win the lottery and I don't have to worry about things. And then after being in the corporate world for so long, I was like, nah, it doesn't have to be a big thing right away. Like, let's just start small. Let's start with those farmers markets and networking and building it up and see where we can take it.
Yeah. So that's about 4 years ago. So you start doing it and you start getting out to the farmers market. How do you I've always wondered this, and it's probably way simpler than I think, but like getting into a farmers market, right? How do you choose the ones you go, like you're as a vendor? Is there like a panel that, Game of Thrones style? Like how do they let you into the farmers market?
They're all different.
Okay.
So yeah, some of the bigger ones, it's much more of an intensive application process or interview process where they want to, meet with you, see all your product, taste it. They want you to tell the story and send them pictures of what your booth's going to look like. And other ones are like, please, we need like vendors, come on in.
Right.
Like,
we don't care. We don't care what it is.
Are you permitted? Let's go.
Yeah.
So,
and is there, is there, I guess as a vendor, do you prefer one over the other? Because I guess they would each have their benefits, right? I mean, the bigger it is, the bigger crowds that are drawn. So as a vendor, how do you decide?
Well, I first started with the Clark Park Farmers Market because it's 8 minutes from my house.
I'm
in Tempe. Like it's super fresh. I can get it right out of the oven, put it in a box, and let's go build a booth for the farmers market. Very small. Like on a good day, we would have 30 vendors. So definitely a small farmers market. But I got to work through so many little issues and meet with other vendors and like have the dedicated time to talk with them and learn from them and get those connections to build a base, and then hear about the process to get into bigger farmers markets. So from there, I went to downtown Phoenix Public Market and met with Sarah and did the full panel of taste all the things and here's what I'm about and why I'm different, and do that one. And now I'm at Uptown. And I got into Uptown really through word of mouth. So a few people had recommended me to Bo, and then I met some other people through Local First Arizona, and they were like, yeah, here's our contact info, you should be there. And so now I'm there on Saturdays.
Yeah, nice. So just kind of building up. Yeah. Yep. So So you you completely cut ties with the retail side of things and jumped into this both feet first?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I dropped out of the corporate world completely.
Yeah.
And jumped all the way into bread, which was terrifying.
Sure. Yeah.
But so good. It took probably 6 months to a year before I finally stopped dreading phone calls in the morning, or there's those little things that kind of scar you.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, just like working for yourself and like, okay, like I got this, it's all up to you. If you have a down week, like what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of, it's a push and pull with yourself. And thankfully, in doing multiple farmers markets and networking with different vendors, there's a lot of idea catch that goes around. You can text any of them or send them a DM and, hey, what do you think about this random idea? Like, would you be in for this? What do you think about this flavor? Can you test something for me?
Yeah.
So there's a great network. You guys have talked about it before as well, both in the beer and the food and restaurants. Like, there's such a good network here. If you lean on it, you can
Yeah.
get a lot of great insights.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to put in your time though, right? And you're putting in your time. You've put in your time. So and I think it's cool because then it keeps going, right? Because then we're going to continue that on for the next, carry the torch for the next children, kind of
Exactly.
thing. Yeah. That's great. So how did it go from just the bread to now PHX Sampler? PHX. We gotta
Yes.
gotta
Yep. The
clarify that.
PHX Sampler.
Yeah, perfect. .com.
Right. .com.
Right.
Make a little
Yeah.
song out of it.
Yeah.
It really, that was, as an entrepreneur, there's just an ongoing list of different ideas of, can we do this? Can we try that? What do you think about this? Is this feasible? Do I have time for it? And a lot of the stuff just gets kind of pushed down to the end of the pile. And then, 2020 hit and all these super fun events like COVID-19 and shutting down of the economy and things
Yeah.
really, spin some wheels. So I actually, I stopped doing farmers markets when everything shut down in March. I think we all kind of had that hope that it would take really 2 weeks and we'd all be back on our feet again.
Yeah.
So I had planned to do that, and then I just ended up taking a little more time. And with that, I kind of got to reassess that to-do pile. What is feasible? What can we do? And reaching out to other people who dropped out of farmers markets as well, or other vendors who were all about the booch. They were in all of the breweries, and breweries were closed, and things like that. So just kind of working with that back channel network of like, hey, are you open to try something new? Can we do something small to get our names collectively out there and use each other's marketing platforms to just introduce people to local goods that they don't have to leave their homes for? They can be surprised by things.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the sampler kind of intervened. And then I went back to the farmers market in July, and it's just doubled down both projects since then.
Sure. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I think, having that FaceTime and being at the market and being able to explain what the sampler is a little bit to other interested vendors and shoppers as well
Yeah.
is helping everybody. And like I said, we're using each other's networks to expand our businesses. So we're at so many different farmers markets around the valley, all different clientele. Some people aren't even leaving the house still, but still want to support local. And this is like a really cool way that we found to collectively do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I assume this is something you would want to continue on indefinitely, really, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, I would love to see this grow to include as many local farmers market vendors, restaurants. If we can get into, booze and things like that, I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to be introducing local brands to people that don't want to leave the house or maybe haven't heard of it and just need a little sampling of something, so that when they do go to the
Yeah.
farmers market, they're not overwhelmed. They've got that target of like, oh, I've tried things from these 3 people. Let's go find them and see who they like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the surprise element of it too, right? Because if that brings a certain type of clientele, right? Somebody
Yes.
that's going to be a little more adventurous. Like I tell my wife sometimes, I'm like, she's like, hey, I'm going so-and-so. You want me to grab you something? I'm like, whatever. Like I actually want her to just pick me because I'll overanalyze it. And then I'm like, dang it, why'd I do that? I'm like, just pick me something. And she always picks me something great. So how did that come about from aside from just being a localized market or online market, what spawned that part of it, that
I
twist, I
think
guess?
that like the original, like the OG CSA boxes. So think, you go to your farmer and you're giving them a subscription amount. It's whatever's in season, however much of it is available. You don't really get to choose. You can add some things on it if you want the eggs, if you want flowers, you can add
Yeah.
those things on it. But you're getting that core group of things that you don't know, and that's going to determine what you eat for the week.
Yeah.
So I think between that and then like the Birchbox mentality of the, you're spending this, a little bit of money and these things are coming to you in a smaller size and you can think about it or maybe invest in a full size option. I think those two things really inspired this. And so many of the businesses involved are micro businesses. That's one, maybe two people shows, just trying to, make something happen. And
Yeah.
if they're at one market, like they're missing all the people on one side of town possibly. So this is a good way to like branch out and go from there. So some of our vendors, we just added the Only Cannoli last week. She's in
Ooh.
Surprise. So her client base is going to be West Side. I'm in
Yeah.
Tempe. So now her product is going to get a base in Tempe, and we can launch off of that. And so it just helps each other to share that. And who doesn't want a nice little surprise right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially something you can consume, right? Like nothing makes me more happy than consuming something, drink, that food. Yeah. So when you start approaching approaching places to get on board with this, my kids always take advantage of this when I'm not doing this to get ice cream cones. So yeah. Things start to get loud. Sorry, Luke, you have to cut that, but
No worries.
Where was I? I don't even know where I was. I don't think I was.
I got a question. So
yeah, go ahead.
As you've been growing the PHX Sampler, what kind of businesses are you looking for when you're choosing vendors to add to what you have going on?
That is a great question. It first started with just the folks that I was already working with regularly, that I had established relationships with and kind of knew their background. And then from there, it's gone to people they recommend, or if we see a category is missing. And lately, it's just been vendors that are reaching out to me. I haven't had to be like doing that, dig in as much. There's still some people that I'm like socially stalking because as soon as we get to a certain growth point and I think I can fit them in, I want to. But
you have a target list? You have a ranked target list?
There's a few on there that I'm like, I know I really, really want you in here, but I can't fit you right now.
Yeah.
And you'll notice, like, if you go through the vendor list, like, we have a lot of duplicates. We've got a lot of bakers. We have raw seasonings, and then we also have Fig and Knife, who does seasonings. And then there's another one on the docket as well. There's a lot of overlap, but everybody has their own little niche or special quality. We even have 3 salsa vendors. I have to tell you, though, literally all 3 of them are in my fridge every single week. Each one has a special one that I like, and I think that a lot of us have our favorites from different people, and it's just because you like one and you try one doesn't mean you shouldn't try another. See if you like that as well.
Yeah. Have you always been into food? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's different though because I grew up on a farm. So I didn't really know how to shop for meat in a grocery store when I moved to Arizona. That was something very foreign to me. Like you just go to the deep freeze. I don't know. There's just deer. That's just what happens.
Not even wrapped up, just like chunks of meat, just pulled off.
So I think that moving to Arizona, and the Cincinnati cheese coney isn't available, White Castle isn't available, all these little things that I grew up with that would have been familiar are not, kind of pushes you to be like, all right, I guess we'll try Filiberto's, like it's right here. And then going from there, and then not knowing what some of the words are too in a lot of places, just like, cool, well, just pick something for me, it's fine.
I always look when they have pictures. I'm like, that looks good.
Yeah.
That one looks good. Yeah, the orange one. I went the orange one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually good, especially if you go with orange. That's what I've learned. So,
Yep.
yeah.
That's the one time that Anthony Bourdain and I disagree. Like, I want pictures on the menu. Please give me pictures on the menu.
Yes. Yes, I'm with you. I don't care if it's like 10 pages. I will gladly. My mom would probably steal it. My mom she stole a menu one time at a restaurant because she loved their food and she wanted to emulate. I was like, why would you steal the menu? They would have given it to you. Like, so, yeah. So sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this, but yeah. So you've seen probably this evolution of Arizona food then too, right? I mean, as both from the outside and inside now.
Yeah, definitely. And being an outsider to it as well. And it was just kind of a shock to me when I moved, just seeing the different options and, different names of things and just not being familiar with where to even start. So it's just like, cool. I mean, somebody tell me what I'm eating because I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. And then, watching the food.
Well, how'd you navigate it then?
It was a lot of asking for recommendations. Thankfully, I was in a smaller class size with industrial design. It's like 70 people a year. So we get pretty close. And so it's a lot of asking for recommendations or, where are you going to lunch? Can you take me with you or just bring 2 back? I don't care. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Just bring something.
Yeah.
And so, expanding from there. So that's been huge. And then 2, I guess really in the last several years, last 4 years since I left the corporate world, I was also working front desk at a gym while getting bread started, and great for networking, by the way. Everyone goes to the gym. You can meet people from everywhere. Great Middle Eastern food recommendations came out of that. There's some, really interesting options that anytime you can talk to somebody, they're going to give you options. And that's kind of where I get my stuff. But it's definitely evolved. Pretty rapidly, I would say, over the last few years. That seems to be compounding, which is awesome.
Yeah. And we always talk about this. It's all coming up together. Coffee, beer, wine. Like, I think, some of them are more established like wine, but, it's just awesome to be part of it, and to see it all happen. What are you drinking? Is that a jug of wine?
It's actually from Shrubwell. This is their orange carrot ginger shrub with some sparkling Sedona water. So it says booze, but it is not. It's a mocktail.
Hey, Shrubwell is legit. They make some good stuff for sure. Yeah. So you got to have favorites. I know you said all the salsas are your favorites, and you didn't say that. I put words in your mouth. But you've got to have personal ones, right? The salsas and things that you use in your own kitchen, like, because I'm sure you cook beyond, or you do stuff beyond bread, right?
Oh yeah.
As far as cooking.
There's a lot of cooking that happens in my house. My husband is a great cook, so I really lucked out in that one. He's taught me a lot of tricks. But also, I don't really have to think about it too much. There definitely are some favorites or some staples that are always in the house. We always have yogurt from Culture Clash in there. We always have Booch in the fridge from All About the Booch. I don't have Shrubwell on the sampler. But always have it in the fridge. Always following them and saying hello. Raul's Cochina, really love vegan options for Mexican food that actually have great flavor. I just had a quesadilla with her mushroom chorizo in it for lunch. So there's really cool options out there that I like to introduce people to. So, and raw seasonings. He has so many blends now. It's like that zesty garlic was just a little inch in the door, put that on everything, and now I can't stop. So there's some good gems.
Yeah. That's awesome. So how does it work? Like, how does it all, so you go to thephxsampler.com, right?
Yep. So you go to the
And where do you go from there?
phxsampler.com. You can just scroll down. It's a one-page site. I wanted to keep it nice and clean. So
Yeah.
you can scroll down. We have 3 surprise sampler options. So 3 different price levels and sizes, 29, 49, and 79. And that just determines how many items go in there. So you get the full value of
Okay.
whatever you pay for. But you'll obviously get more or bigger options with like a $79 package. So like you might get coffee or something that's a little higher price than it would fit in the smaller packages. And then you can add
Gotcha.
on anything from vendors that have already been introduced. So if they didn't just roll out for this week, then you can add on your favorite yogurts or sauces or salsa or chips or hummus, things like that can just be added on. So you know that you're
A
getting those
huge
for
list
sure.
too.
Oh, it's huge, yeah. And it
That's
just
really
keeps,
cool. You hit that drop down. Wow, that's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Organizing that is super fun. Square needs to come up with
Sure, I
like
bet.
a mathematical option because it drives me up a wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's over 220 options this week for that.
Wow,
And
nice.
then last week we just rolled out 2 more a la carte style samplers. So we have one called
Okay.
Bring On Fall, which is like all the fall, the PSL stuff, all that jazz with the apple cider
PSL.
and
I've never
pumpkins.
heard that's the first time I've ever heard that acronym.
Yeah.
It took me a second. I knew that was what was coming, but I just
Yeah.
never heard the acronym.
Yep, all that pumpkin
That's
spice.
great. Yeah.
Pumpkin spice,
Yep.
everything nice, apple cider, those sorts of things. Those flavors are going to be in that one.
Yeah.
And it's we still left a $5 window so that we can add some little surprises in there in case there's something seasonal from a new vendor or just something extra to get in there. So there's still one surprise that'll come in those samplers, but everything else they can pick from there. So it also gives people that
Yeah.
are buying the surprise samplers an option to have access to those seasonal items. And then the other
Yeah.
themed one is called Monday Morning Helper because school's back for a lot of people and Mondays are kind of a drag. And so this will give people the opportunity to just have that, like everything you need for breakfast on Monday delivered on Sunday so you don't have to think about it. You're like ready to go, got the yogurt, got the granola, let's go. So
So you can deliver alcohol then? Is that what you're saying?
no,
I'm
not
just
yet.
for Monday morning.
Right?
That's for Monday morning.
We're hoping to get
that
there.
complicates things, yeah. Right. That's
That'll
a different
definitely
type of
change.
delivery
Yeah.
service.
And that'll change
Yeah.
right now we do no contact delivery unless requested.
Okay.
So yeah, when we get to the booze point, that'll have to change so we can see IDs and all that fun stuff.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just those options. And for anybody who has, just wants to see what their options are in general, you can keep scrolling down on the website. And if you hover over any logo from the vendors that are included, their website's right there. So you can just copy paste their
Nice.
website. You can go directly to them. You can find out what markets they're at. Like I said before, it's about cross-marketing. So this is just one platform where you can find all these different people. And if you don't want a surprise sampler, you can just, go order a case of booch and it'll be delivered to you. You've got options. This is just one easy pathway to find them.
Yeah. Yeah. We love it. We love what you're doing. And I don't want to make my first order because I feel then I'll just be like wanting it all the time. And is there a limit? Can I do just multiple like
well, it's not a subscription.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Okay.
You can just do it once.
Yeah.
There's no, perk there, and you can change different levels. Some of our regulars learned pretty quickly when they got the bigger samplers the first couple weeks, like it's a lot. And each week we try to give you all new things that you haven't had before. I track all of those fun details. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah, I try to give you things you haven't tried before, or if it's repeat vendors, it's something else from that vendor. And so after a couple weeks of a lot of things, some of them started to get the smaller packages and adding on quite a few things to make sure they got things they wanted, but they still get some surprises. And still some people are like, no, that's cool. Give me the big package of surprises. I love it. Whatever you want to send my way, have at it. It's really fun. It's really fun to build these samplers and to see the reactions. and to get the feedback and, see their notes, because you can add in any dietary notes you want. And there are a couple clients that when they order, like the dietary field is like all the vendors they want in their sampler. So it's like, I just fill up the money with those vendors. I'm like, that works. All right, you can totally do that. Other times there was a gal that was just like, please, everything chocolate. Cool. I can, find chocolate from all sorts of vendors. You want a brownie? Awesome. You want chocolate chip cookies? Cool. We got it. This and that. We can make it happen. So it's a lot of fun to read the little notes and build each custom sampler as we go.
Yeah, and I would think too, it would be a good opportunity for gifts, right? Like, so if you get a big box and you're like, all right, I like everything but two, but my brother likes jalapeno jelly or whatever, right? That's really cool. So as you're explaining this, I just, in my mind, I see the web of like logistics, just like, you've seen the gif of the girl with the numbers, like, yeah. Does your mind work like that? So is it easy and you enjoy that aspect of it?
So it kind of goes back to the start of our conversation when I was in wholesale footwear.
Okay.
So when I was managing the Dillard's account, we had customized assortments of boots in like 170 stores at one point, I think it was. And so each store has this many dollars that are open, and each run of boots, you want so many sizes in there. So how many and what styles can you fit in there? What's worked in the past? What hasn't? So I did that for several years. So that definitely gave me a good base to building this. I love Excel. It makes me happy when it works. And when it doesn't, I just call my husband in. He's an accountant, so it works out really well that way.
Fix this. I don't know. Fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. Please help. I don't know what the formula is. I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
So
a good cook and numbers guy, man, you hit the jackpot with this guy, right?
He definitely did. And he's not bad looking. I mean, it really just the trifecta there. It's pretty awesome.
It's building. We got to meet this guy. We got to meet him. Yeah, he'll be the first accountant on the Taste of AC. Yeah.
Need a property tax analyst? All right, I got one for you.
Wow. Man, yeah, that's a whole new show right there.
Right. He'll talk New Mexico basketball if you want that. That's like the other option. But
all right, okay. We'll work the details out later. Yeah, but
so the base in footwear analysis and building the assortments by store definitely helps. I have the tracker of each customer, what they've purchased, what they added on, what we gave them as surprises. And then, just based on that and what's available, I just build a new assortment each time they order.
Yeah.
So it's definitely really a web. Cool. Thursdays, I'm like drowning in Excel. I'm like, please, like my phone can't ring. No one, like, just at the desk. But it's definitely worth it, especially when people come back and report back that I never heard of this brand before, or the vendor reports back, hey, I just had somebody who got, something from a sampler and they said it was awesome, or they post about it. Like, I really love the joy of introducing something new to people that they enjoy.
Absolutely. Well, you picked the perfect platform for it, right? Like that's what you're doing now, right? It's like you just, and surprising people, they'll like it or they don't, right?
Yeah.
So have you had anybody complain? Damn it, I don't like peppers or whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've had a couple. Yeah, and some of them were totally like, I had a down week and I didn't pay attention to my spreadsheet on one or two people, and they got duplicates of things, and I felt terrible. But I went back in and just like they're it happens. They were duplicates from different vendors, but it gave me another point where I could look at like, oh right, just because I looked at what vendors had they had, I didn't look at what product they had from those vendors. So they had different vendors, but it was the same product from them. So it's like, all right, so now you got to look at both these things when you do add that to your list of things to do. But it's a lot of living and learning, and not everybody is going to be totally happy. I hope that everybody finds something that they enjoy, even if it's just the surprise of it and handing it off to someone who does like it. That would be awesome. But to each their own. I just hope everybody tries something. You gotta try something new.
Absolutely.
Or give me a
Absolutely.
list of exactly what you want, and I'll put it in there.
Right. There you go. Many options. There's a whole spectrum of things. Yes.
That's what I'm here for. You tell me. I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
If you don't leave me notes, I don't have notes to work with, and you get surprises entirely.
There you go. There you go. What you might want. Exactly. So, yeah. Do you have a picture, like a big vision picture of where you want this to go, or are you just kind of taking it as trying to hold on at this point, kind of, right?
Right now, it's trying to hold on and build it gradually, and just get it working right. And each week is new. Big picture, I would love to see this become like a multi-city thing. If we can do the different codes for different cities and just little surprise packages everywhere, I think it would be fun to see it go that big. I would not be doing it from an upper management level. I would just like to hand that off. But if somebody from another city wants to do it, I'll happily, work them into how my process works and hand it off. I think it's just cool to experience something new. And I know prior to being in farmers markets, I found farmers markets to be overwhelming, or not knowing where to shop or things like that. And this gives you a point of like a basis. It gives you a baseline of things that you can look for when you go to the farmers market, or things you can be excited for, or things to share with other people when they come to town. Hey, I tried this from here, or we've got a couple restaurants involved. So, we had fresh pasta in our sampler from here. Let's go to Nona this weekend for the actual dish.
Yeah.
So just sharing that and expanding. Yeah, sharing's caring, right? So it's like,
Absolutely.
expand it. We gotta go.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, you're doing great stuff, Alex. We appreciate you coming on the show. And like I said, we love what you're doing. So keep up the great work.
Awesome. Thank you. I look forward to it.
Yes. The PHXsampler.com.
Yes.
Go there, get started, buy all the stuff. That's my best promotion right there.
Get excited, try the things.
Try the things at a reasonable pace. Alex she can only web so many weaves, or however you say that. Yeah. So many webs, yes. So, well, cool. Alex, thank you again. And we will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, everyone, there you have it, PHX Sampler. Make sure you order some of their awesome farmers markets goods and have them delivered directly to your door. Make sure to follow Taste of AZ on social media. See you next time.